What's up, guys?
Hey.
Welcome back to Downright Random. I am Mike. This is Janine.
Hey.
So this is episode 6.
Yes.
So we hope you've been enjoying the other ones so far. Definitely let us know. Keep in contact with us. You can do it multiple ways. You can message us down below in the comment section. You can follow us on Instagram and leave us a comment there. Send us a DM there. We do have a website coming soon that you can contact us on there and listen to the podcast and audio and everything in there as well. And we will have merch very soon too, which will be posted there. So definitely keep up with that.
Yeah.
So anyways, guys, so we'll get into today's random topic, which will probably change because most of the time, every time we start something, it doesn't. It just goes awry and just goes everywhere. So,
which is fine. Like, you know, if you're just, because that's how it is. If you're just talking to a friend, just think about like if you're on a road trip and like you're not going to talk about the same topic throughout the whole trip. You're going to kind of go from topic to topic or whatever. So it's what it. I
mean, hopefully we're doing a community service here, and people will watch us and listen to us and be like, you know what? I want to have a conversation with my significant other or friend the same way that Mike and Janine do because they're awesome. So,
toot toot.
Hopefully you guys are wanting to have more conversation with everyone and things like that. I mean, because this is how we have our conversations. It's completely random. I mean, we start in something and we'll go to 1,000 other things. We'll agree, we'll disagree, and then we'll come back together and probably agree again. I mean, it's one of those things where that's just what it is, and that's how people are. So and we wanted to share that with you guys.
Okay.
I guess that's all I have to say.
That's his explanation and disclaimer, just kind of like explaining. But go ahead. What did you have on your mind for today?
I thought you had something on your mind.
Oh, you son of a no! You said you had something on your mind, so I'm throwing it back to you.
Oh,
okay. All right, fine. Do you have anything?
Not right now.
Okay. All right. See, this is all right. So I was thinking about the other day. You were saying like more like childhood stories, because once again we say when you have like random conversations, that's when you learn things about people. And so I was thinking about a time like when I was younger, when I can remember I was actually like genuinely scared. And like it's not like a bad story, but I was genuinely scared. And so the story is about one of my aunts is a Jehovah's Witness, and I'm not in any way going into the whole Jehovah's Witness faith and all that other stuff. If that's what you believe in, okay, that's fine, whatever. Yeah. I'm not going into that aspect of it. I'm going into the aspect of 6-year-old Janine, who was like, what the F is with these people or whatever. So I remember one time doing the, like the Jehovah's Witness would do like the door to door and they knock on the door and everything. And at the time we were in Georgia, and Georgia has tornadoes. And as a kid, like tornadoes were terrifying to me because like, when we did have a few tornadoes, like you would hear like the train and all. I don't know if that's always what happens, but the ones that we experienced, it got really dark outside, and then like you hear like that train noise or whatever. So this particular time, we were. You okay?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Okay. I'm
focusing.
Okay. We were going door to door, and then all of a sudden it started getting like kind of like windy, and then like it was rainy a little bit, and it started to kind of get a little. There you go. It started to get a little dark, and I was just like, and I'm sitting in in the car, and there's still like my aunt and like some of the other Jehovah's Witness women that were there with her. They were still going door to door or whatever. And I was like thinking to myself, mind you, I'm 6 years old at the time. And I'm thinking to myself, I think a tornado is coming. And they were focused on getting their point across. And, I don't know. Is there like a quota that you have to go to a certain amount of houses? I don't know how that works. Like, do you get in trouble if you come back with too many brochures or something? Like, I don't know.
Well, it's probably one of those things that, every 12th house you get a free sub or something.
Something like that. And like I said, in no way am I being disrespectful. If that's your faith, whatever. Like, but
we'll make fun of everyone's faith at some point.
So don't.
We'll explain our faith maybe in the future stuff.
And so and then you'll see that everything kind of, we have our own whatever. But so I'm like in the car, and I think some parts of the stories probably got a little bit dramatized because as a kid I was very dramatic, and so in my mind, we were in somebody's vehicle that was like a station wagon, and I was sitting, which I'm pretty sure this wasn't what it was, but then we did sit in the back though as kids. So I mean, it's possible that it could be that I was sitting like all the
But, I
way
mean,
in the
but
back.
did you have like the seats in the back?
I don't know. I don't know.
Because we sat in the back of our station wagon as kids,
they were-
we had a third row seat in the back of the station
Oh,
wagon
sorry.
that opened up
So-
you could see the people behind you.
What? Explain that again.
The seat would pull up out of the
Yeah.
thing. You know how like sometimes where the tire is and
Yeah.
so we had a third row seat that opened up, and then when we sat in it, we could see the people, like we were facing the people behind us.
Okay, yeah.
So we were like,
See, I don't remember if there was a seat or if we just sat back there. That I can't remember.
Yeah.
You know, but if that's what the way cars were kind of, you know, because you don't really see wagons like that anymore.
Yeah, you do.
You do? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, people aren't really putting their kids back there unless they have like a whole boatload of kids.
But we were at Walmart not that long ago, and we saw a wagon that had a third row seat and it had all the toys. And I said, "Look, they got the seat in the
Oh,
back."
interesting. Okay. Well,
You weren't paying attention.
I wasn't paying attention. So, anyways, so in my mind, I was sitting in the back, and I can see like the rain and like, you know, the wind and all this other stuff, and I'm telling my aunt, I think it's time to go. And they're like, no. They're still wanting to like, you know, do it. And in my mind, I see the tornado in the distance, which I think this is the part that in my mind, it was like dramatization or something. Because I was just like, oh my God, the tornado's going to get us as a little kid. And so the next thing I remember is that it got really bad, but not like the tornado bad, but it got really bad. And then they finally were like, okay, we can leave. And then the next thing I remember in the story was we went to somebody's house and we were eating a bean sprout salad. And that's what I remember from that day. Isn't that weird?
Was that the scary part? The salad?
Probably so. But the funny thing about it, a few years ago, I did ask my aunt about this story, and she said it did happen. I don't know if it happened the way I remember, but she does. She thought it was funny because she said I was kind of freaking out, and I was like, really, you remember that? And you remember me freaking out? And but yeah, so it did happen. But I think that I kind of like added my own like, you know, in the distance I saw the tornado coming and all this other stuff. But yeah, it did happen. But tornadoes are pretty scary.
Yeah, they
Have
are.
you ever like experienced a tornado?
Not like that.
No. Okay.
I mean, the only thing that I've experienced, I like, you know, I mean, at our house we've had like some tornadoes come through the area.
The area, yeah.
And we've seen like them knock down trees.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
take out a few, you know, homes and stuff like that. But nothing that's, you know, affected me in that way.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was a little kid, we had like a tornado come through the area, and we had to do the tornado drill and stuff like that.
Yeah.
In the school.
Mm-hmm.
But also the school was like like one of those shelter kind of things to go to make sure that people in the neighborhood, if they were needing to go
so the
somewhere,
neighborhood would go to
like
the school.
people could come to the school
because it was like a solid building
Yeah.
or whatever. Okay. Yeah.
or they just wanted everyone to die in the same
You're
place.
stupid. That's not right. That's how we keep track of everything. Yeah, but we did have other tornadoes that like came through, but I don't really remember if there was like destruction, but I do remember one time my mom was home because we were staying with my aunt and uncle and which that was crazy. My aunt and uncle was me, my brother, and my aunt, uncle, and my 3 cousins, and so a lot of kids in the house. But I remember one time she was there, and then it got really dark, and then my mom was like freaking out, and she's like, "Get in the closet! Get in the closet!"
Yeah.
And it was like really dark outside and everything. So I do remember that. And I think when that happened, we were watching Batman. Remember the old Batman?
Which one?
It was the show. It wasn't a movie. It was a
Oh,
show. We were watching
okay.
the Batman show, and I do remember that. And then all of a sudden, the lights started flickering, and then I was just like, "What's happening? What's happening?" And then all of a sudden, we heard like the train noise, and then we had to run down. So yeah.
Okay.
I remember little details about things. I don't know. But like I said, I always like feel like as a kid I would dramatize, is that the word? Yeah. I would just like kind of add things, to the
Yeah.
story. But it's hard because like as a kid, like, there's certain little things that you remember.
Well, it's one of those things that
So-
everything seems bigger to you as a kid.
That's yeah.
And then when you grow up, you're like, I thought that was like huge.
You ever go back someplace and you're just like, I remember this looking different or something. And it's like you remember some things, but
Yeah.
do you ever have the thing where you have certain dreams and you always go back to a certain place?
Oh yeah.
What place is it usually?
I mean, it's multiple places.
Yeah.
But I mean, the one that I've had dreams about multiple times is I've gone back to where my grandparents lived at this one house when I was like really young. But they moved probably when I was like 5 or 6 maybe.
Okay.
But I remember that other house like very vivid, and I
Yeah.
can walk through all the rooms. I can walk through the hallways. I know where things were. I know where like little statues in the house was.
Is that
I
where that
remember-
little oven was? The stove?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was like it was a very weird layout.
Okay.
Like when you walked in, you had like, you could go upstairs. It was like a
Mm-hmm.
little split level. Or you could go in the living room, which was on the same level.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could kind of go downstairs a little bit. But it wasn't like a true downstairs.
Yeah.
But if you go upstairs to the split, it's actually like a loft area. But there was like the dining room and the kitchen, and on the backside of the kitchen was like this little staircase that went down back to the back side of the house, where there was like a little patio, outside patio, or it could go back down like to the downstairs where my grandfather's like office was, where we weren't allowed to go. Like it was like off limits.
Yeah.
And like I can remember only a little bit of that room.
Yeah.
Because we weren't allowed to play in there.
Yeah.
And he only let us in there a few times when he was in there and stuff like that. But it's one of those
And you would
rooms-
try to take everything in because you
Yeah,
never
you have
really
to take
go in there.
everything
So it's just like, I don't want to look at everything. I'm going to see everything. Yeah.
So I mean, it was a lot of his work stuff. And,
Yeah.
I mean, he was an engineer, electrical engineer, so he had tons of his like blueprints and schematics and stuff everywhere, and all these little other things. But like, it was one of those offices that, as a kid, like in my mind right now, it may not have been like that at all.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure if I saw a picture, I'd be like, that's not. I don't remember. But like it, as a kid and how I remember it right now, it's almost like how you see like in a movie of like a James Bond boss's office that you walk in and it's all this stuff, or like some detective's office. It's like it's all like the wood panelings everywhere, and you just kind of like have that feeling of like the 70s like police shows or something like that. That's how it like felt. Like, you walked into like this like secret office kind of thing. And that's how I kind of like always like thought of it in my head. It was like this secret room kind of thing. But which later he had another secret room in the other house, which was fun too. But but yeah, that's how I remember that. But also like in that part, there was also like this wood stove area. It was like this little kind of like a sitting room in the downstairs area, but there was like a wood stove and some rocks and stuff. And we always had like this little like cast iron little stove I always played with. That was always fun. But I mean, that's the house I remember, or the place I remember most was that house. But like also there was a golf course behind it, and so we'd always go find golf balls that people would lose in the bushes and stuff like that. So I mean, there were tons of stuff. There was like a little like lake not far from it, so we would always go look at the snakes and by the pond and everything. I mean, that's where I have a lot of my memories, just like of places that like come back though.
Yeah. And that's, you go there and dream sometimes also?
No, that's where normally I dream.
Oh, really?
Yeah, or
That's
I
interesting.
visit that as one of my dreams.
Because most people, they dream of like a place they lived, where they lived, and that
Yeah.
was that's what's interesting about it.
No, that's what I dream about most. I mean, most of the time I don't think about it too much if I'm not dreaming, because it's like I remember it, but there's nothing that like brings me back to it that I have to like think about it.
Yeah.
Except for my dreams, where I'm just like walking around in there and things like that.
Now, do you think that when you're back in that dream, you're young Michael, or you're at your age right now?
Oh, that I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Like, is anything happening in particular?
Not
or-
really. It's
no?
just me walking
Just
around
walking
it
around.
and like just I'm there.
Yeah. Do you see anybody else?
Not most of the
No?
time, no.
Interesting. Do you
Okay.
interact with a lot of people in your dreams?
Yeah, yeah.
You do? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there are times that I'm like, I'm fighting people. In my dreams. Like,
Yeah.
I'm definitely interacting with people in my dreams. But no, I mean, in that kind of dream, I'm more of just at the house. Like, I think there is family there at some point.
Yeah.
But I'm not like reliving.
Okay, memories
I'm
or
not.
anything.
I'm not
or-
reliving memories. I
Yeah.
think it's just that my brain is just
It goes back
recreating the house, and I'm just like going through it.
It's interesting. Because a lot of times, like I go back to the place where we lived the most. That was in Queens, New York. And sometimes I try to think, am I, kind of like you were just saying, like, am I recreating certain things, or am I me at my age right now going back to that house? And sometimes it's like a mixture. Sometimes I do feel like it's like I'm going through like something that happened there.
Right.
Or I'm just kind of I'm there.
See,
and I'm
I
kind of
don't-
walking.
I don't think
you
I'm
know.
going through. I don't think I go through something that happened there. I
Yeah.
think I'm just
there.
So
Yeah.
and then I don't know if it's me as a kid or me as an adult, because
Yeah.
I don't look at myself. I
Yeah.
don't like looking in a mirror in my dream
Yeah, I
or
don't-
anything like that. So I don't actually see how I look in how I'm looking in that.
I don't know if
point
I've
in time.
ever. I can't even think. That actually just creeped me out when you said that. Looking at yourself like in a mirror, like in a dream. I don't know if I've ever done that. Like, do
Really?
you see yourself in a dream?
I have, yeah.
You've seen yourself in a dream before? Wow. I don't know if I've actually ever seen myself in a dream.
If I'm in a dream and I'm like in a place and there's like either a window that's reflective or like a bathroom or a mirror or someplace in a room or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see myself.
That's so creepy.
But I just see myself.
Yeah.
How I see myself right now
Yeah.
is how I see myself in the dream.
Holy moly. Yeah, I don't think I've ever actually seen myself in a dream. I don't even know if, like, you know, like in video games, what is it, like the first person, you can like look down, like see
You
your
just see your
hands.
hands.
I don't even know if I've ever done that. I don't think I've ever like seen myself like in a dream.
Yeah.
It's an interesting
So
concept.
you're just like in like movie mode.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because keep in mind, like even like I feel like when I'm in it, like I have like true first person. Because like
Yeah.
you know, you see like the outline of your nose and stuff. Like I can have all that.
Huh? Yeah.
You just now realize that you can see.
No,
your-
because I'm trying to think of like in a dream, and I'm like, I don't think I've ever actually seen any like aspect of myself, which is weird because like you like even like looking down at your, like I said, your hands or like your feet or what you're wearing, I don't really know like if I feel like everything else is so vivid and so like I remember like a lot of other details like other people. I don't really see
Well,
myself
okay.
in my dreams.
Well, but you don't. Are you saying that as you don't see yourself as reflection, or you don't see yourself like you're also like a third, like a what is it, third person view kind of thing? Have you ever had that, where like something happens to you and then you're like seeing yourself?
The only time I've experienced that, I think, is when I still don't know if I'm seeing myself. Actually, you know what? I did have one experience. It's kind of creepy. And I was actually, it was at the same house that I said where I grew up. And I fell asleep on the couch and I saw myself.
Okay.
No, I don't even know if I saw, but
You fell asleep on the couch in the dream or
in real life.
Okay.
In real life, I fell asleep on the couch. And then I
'Cause I thought
couldn't.
we were getting ready to have an inception, a dream inside of a dream for a second.
Oh, it is. It was a dream inside of a dream. I fell asleep on the couch and then I couldn't wait. You know, you ever had that feeling when you can't wake up? You feel like have you ever had that
well,
feeling?
it's sleep paralysis.
Yeah. So I couldn't wake up. And then in my dream, somebody was standing in front of me and they were saying, wake up, wake up. And for a quick second, I saw what they were seeing. They were seeing me laying on the couch. They were trying to wake me up. And for a second, like I saw from their view that I was laying there on the couch.
Was it your view?
It was their view because I was looking
Right,
from their
but
point
was
of
it
view.
you trying to wake yourself up?
Probably so.
Well, then it was your view.
But why did I make it somebody else and not me saying wake up? There was somebody like sitting in front of
So
me.
it
saying,
looked
"Wake-"
different than you.
Yeah, the
So
person looked different from me, and they were saying wake up, wake up. And I opened my eyes like in the dream, and I was looking at them, and they're like wake up, wake up. And then all of a sudden I saw from their point of view me laying on the couch sleeping.
So you're hitting like Shift C for a different camera view.
I guess. So that is probably the only time.
See, I
the
don't
only
think-
time
I don't-
I remember like actually seeing myself. But it was weird that, like I said, it wasn't like me kneeling.
I don't think I've
you know.
ever been in a dream where I've been someone else.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever done
Yeah.
that.
I do remember that. And the other weird thing about it was when I fell asleep on the couch. So my stepdad found this dog. He said he was driving down the street and there was a dog running down the street, and this dog, he opened up the door and the dog jumped into the car. So he came home with this dog, and this dog absolutely like was obsessed with him, like to the point where it was like, you know, like when you have like, and you said this about your thing with your grandma. She had a dog, and the dog only liked her, and he was like mean to everybody else. Did you say that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's how this dog was. Like the dog would tolerate like me and my brother, but she like was like attached to him and absolutely hated my mom, to the point where I think I told you about this, where my mom was cleaning under the bed one day. And I know people are going to be like, what the heck are you talking about? My mom was cleaning under their bed one day. And I had this pen that, it had like feathers on the end of it. It was like my favorite pen or whatever. And I couldn't find the pen after a while. I was like, where's this pen? So my mom was cleaning underneath their bed, and she saw that the feathers were like, she saw like some of the feathers under the bed. So she lifted she moved the mattress over, and the feathers were like all like underneath my mom's side of the bed, like, but it was like in a circle. And so she thinks the dog did something.
See, the dog was probably just like it
Tearing-
probably ripped
tearing
it up
ste-
and
tearing
just kind
stuff
of like
up.
was
Yeah.
laying in the middle of it
Yeah.
and then just kind of like pushed it out.
That's probably what happened, if you want to say that. So
I did say
we'll,
that.
We'll get into ghost stories and how we feel about all that other stuff.
We'll get
But
into ghost stories.
yeah. So then that day when I was taking a nap on the couch, the dog was sleeping with me, and she was like laying with me or whatever on the couch. And I never let her sleep next to me after that day. Because like I said, I had that weird feeling where like I was like not able to wake up. I saw the other person. I have no idea who the person was. I do know it was like a kid. He was probably like, at the time I think I was like in my teens, and the kid was also like probably like in his teens or like, you know, whatever, a little bit younger. But I had that dream, and then when I woke up, I was just like, get this dog away from me. And I felt like something was off about this dog, but she was such a weird dog. And then the whole like concept of how she came into the house was also just kind of like, you know, like I said, the whole story about, oh, she jumped in the car and all this other stuff. And then she was just mean and everything. So I know you don't believe in all that stuff, but I don't know. So now that I, you know, yeah.
Well, it's one of those things. We'll get into beliefs later, but
Going back to dreams.
animals can be mean. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
No, my grandmother's dog. That dog's name was Pete or Petey.
And that dog's name is Pua. And she was an ugly pug.
That dog was mean. Like,
yeah.
You wanted to like it,
Yeah.
but if anyone other than my grandmother got close to it, it was just like it was mean.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe as a kid, that's how I remember it. Maybe the dog wasn't that mean.
Yeah.
The dog was mean.
And probably because like as a kid, you want to like pet every dog and animal. You're just like, oh, I want to play with it, and then it's just kind of like and it could have just
Well,
been
sometimes you'd get a chance to pet him.
Yeah.
But then no.
Do you think you guys are just too hyper, and maybe he was just like, because he was like an older person's
No,
dog?
we were pet people.
Yeah. So it wasn't like you were like going at him rough or
Yeah.
anything like that. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. We've had tons of animals. I mean, so it's not like we were mistreating it or not knowing how to like treat or pet an animal. I mean, because we had I mean, at that point, I mean, we had dogs and rabbits and guinea pigs. I mean, it was like so. Yeah.
Maybe he just was.
He was just evil.
Yeah, evil.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dog was evil. I don't know.
But yeah, so going back to dreams though, like that's probably like the only time that I've probably seen myself. But any other time, I don't really see.
So how many times do you think that? How many times do you think that your dreams are like visions of the future, and then what happens? The deja vu was your dream, or do you think the deja vu is just like a feeling?
Okay, so the whole concept of deja vu freaks me out because I feel like it's like I'm gonna sound like a whatever, but it's like a glitch in the system.
Well, yeah, that's
Yeah.
how the Matrix explains.
Yeah. No, but even before I even saw the Matrix, I felt that way because it's kind of like why is it that I just the whole concept of it kind of like it freaks me out.
Well, if you think about it like in the terms of the Matrix, yeah, it could seem freaky because you're in a chamber somewhere being eaten by robots.
Oh God.
And that was your glitch.
So, what do you think about like deja vu and everything?
I think it's just a feeling, but it's one of those things
but
that
sometimes there's feelings like you have like deja vu, and sometimes it's like, oh, that felt like deja vu, but sometimes it's like, whoa, that like it throws it, like it really feels like you have to stop for a second. And you're like, wait a minute.
But it's one of those things that I feel like your brain can trick you.
Oh yeah,
your brain is. I mean, like we've discussed it as far as like, you know, your brain is all just like chemicals and synapses and stuff like that, where it's like all the little electrical things in your body and stuff like that. And sometimes if like if you turn on a light switch but you like hit it wrong, it like will flicker on for a second before it turns on. It will like turn on, turn off, and then it'll turn on good. Yeah. So it's one of those things like that too. I think it's like your brain will like hit a snap and you'll be like, wait, what? And then you're actually like, oh, that was weird. You know, I think that's kind of what it is. But and it's one of those things that you think that you're remembering something because of something similar that's happened to you.
Yeah, and that can be it also. Like something is just, or somebody says something and they probably have said it before, and you're just
or
like,
someone else has said something to you, and
Yeah.
then someone else says the exact same thing. And you're
Yeah.
like, that was weird. Did
Yeah.
we have this conversation? But it was with someone else, and then then the rest of your time you're just thinking that someone told you to watch a TV show on Amazon, and you can't figure out who told you that because everyone lied to you because
here we
they
go.
told you.
You did not tell me, and you did not tell your dad.
No. You told me, or my dad told me. And when I watched the show, it was a pretty good show. But you're saying that you've never heard of the show. And my dad said...
You never told us.
What do you mean I never told you? You're the one that told me about the show.
I mean, I never told you, and your dad never told you.
Yeah, one of you
You're
did.
remembering it wrong.
No.
It didn't happen.
It did happen. Okay.
Okay.
Let me just explain it.
Go into it. Sorry.
So There's a show on Amazon.
Which, yes, it was very good.
It was on the History Channel.
Yeah.
I think it's still on the History Channel.
Yeah.
Called Alone.
Mm-hmm.
And so we prepare for certain things. We want to try and do some more like camping and hiking and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But when we talk about like being prepared for stuff, sometimes we talk about, can we survive alone in the wilderness?
Yeah.
Very primitive and stuff like that. We talk about things like that, and probably sometimes we'll try to see how primitive we
guys.
can go. But so I thought, I'll say that I thought, because I'm still trying to get proof that
It's never gonna happen because go
that
ahead.
you told me that there was a show called Alone, because we talk about like all the primitive
I
stuff all the time,
understand.
and that there was a show on Amazon Alone, and we should watch it because you heard about it.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, cool. And then probably a couple weeks later, I was going through Amazon and it popped up on the thing. And I was like, or it popped up in like some of the things because we were watching some other like things, and now it popped up because it was the recommended stuff. And I was like, okay. I added it to our list. And I was watching one of the trailers, and I was like, oh, it's really cool. And I said, I found that show that you were talking about, and you were like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I explained the whole thing of the show, the whole premise of the show to you, and like, no, that sounds cool, but I've never heard of that show.
And I honestly
and I was
don't.
like, all right, well, someone told me about it. And then I was like, maybe my dad told me about it. But I'm like thinking, why would my dad tell me about it? Because I don't really talk that kind of like primitive camping or prepping anything with my dad.
Yeah.
But sometimes he'll just tell me random shows that he watches.
Yeah.
And then I told my dad, and he goes, I don't know what you're talking about. So somebody told me, and I'm sorry, I don't have many friends. And my friends do not talk about the stuff that we talk about. So it was you or my dad.
I know exactly what it was.
Who?
It's going to blow your mind.
Your doppelganger?
No, it wasn't my doppelganger. She's not around anymore. I took her out. But it was Amazon.
No, Amazon
tapped into your brain.
We do not have
and that's
an
why
Echo.
all of a sudden you don't have to have Echo nowadays. You can have your cell phone. They can tap. You can think. You can literally think about something, and then all of a sudden it would come up on your Facebook or your Instagram.
Someone
you think
me.
they made you think that they
words
told you.
came out of your mouth.
They made you think that
words came out.
They made you
said,
think because they knew if they just suggested it to you, you probably weren't going to pay attention to it. But if you thought it was somebody that you trusted, then they would act. Then you'd be like, okay, I'll take their suggestion. It's okay to understand that. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. This is how they do it. They want you to.
I know my phone listens to me.
Yes,
that doesn't scare me.
And they know that.
They can listen all they want. They're not going to get anything cool. And then if they do try to get something fun and cool and get it out on me, I'll agree to it because it is what it is. I'm not going to disagree. But here's the thing. Amazon did not talk to me. This was not even deja vu. There were words.
They made you think that somebody delivered this message to you because they know how you are. They know you're stubborn and you're like, I'm not going to just take suggestions. They're like, okay, we've done enough surveying on Mike that we know that if we just throw something at him, he's going to be like, whatever. But if we make him think that someone he trusts and loves told him something, he'll listen. So that's how they deliver. You're laughing because
it's crazy. Because
it's crazy, but it's true.
How did they make me think that you told me about it?
Listen, technology. That's technology. That's technology nowadays, guys. Technology. Look, that's how they do it. They make you.
You're not explaining it.
I just explained it to you.
How did they do it, though? Explain that to me. If they made me feel that you were the one that told me, or my dad, how did they do that? How
serious do you feel that one of us told you?
Like 100%.
And 100%, neither one of us told you. So,
or maybe my dad is just seen too many things and
don't
forgot.
Don't blame your dad. It's Amazon.
You. No, you did.
Honestly, babe, when you told me, I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. And I literally said, that sounds interesting. But I honestly did not tell you that.
You did.
It's okay. It's all right. Okay, people, it's technology.
I feel like this is one of those times where it's like, I will bet you $1 million that you told me.
You will lose.
But I know I'll lose because you will not agree to it.
No, that's not what happened. Like, I honestly, usually, sometimes, like, I'll joke and be like, oh, that wasn't me. But it honestly wasn't.
I think you're trying to keep that going.
How would I have come across that show? How would it
Usually-
have been recommended to me?
Because you come across things on like Twitter and Instagram and yes, you do.
But I don't look up that kind of stuff.
You
so
send
when
me
they
stuff
do,
all the time.
Yeah, but when they listen, it didn't happen like that. I'm sorry to break it to you.
You send me stuff about like the
I
traveling
know I do.
stuff and
like
the
I said,
RV
I gave you
stuff.
credit that it was it was an interesting show, but I didn't tell you that.
You did. Because this show was not on my radar. And when I was like, oh, that's the show that was recommended to me. Look, that's what it was.
It's okay.
Mm.
It's okay. But anyways, the show is actually good if you guys want to check it out. It actually was a really interesting show.
But we're not recommending it because we're not here.
this is
So when you
none of
see it
this.
pop up on your Amazon, we deny anything that we told you about this show.
Listen, it happened. Amazon told you. I don't know. But yeah, it was a really good show, and it I think the concept of it was really good, and I think a lot of people,
I think it was good, but I think it was too extreme.
it was too extreme. That's what I was going to say. I think a lot of people didn't expect it to be like that, like, cuz a lot of
We're going to
like,
put you in the worst
the worst
situation
situ-
ever.
yeah. And see if
And
you can.
you will possibly die.
Yeah.
Because it could last up to a year
Up to a year.
in freezing cold temperatures.
And you have to find food, shelter.
Like, okay, finding the
warmth.
food and the
Yeah.
shelter and stuff like that, I'm all for that. Like that.
But some people were put in places where there weren't that many like fish and everything, remember? So they had to like go someplace else cuz
I mean, but that's part of it. But
Yeah,
where
that's
where
true.
my problem is
Yeah.
is how like cold in the situation they put
Yeah.
you in, because cold is like so much harder to survive
Yeah.
than anything else.
Yeah.
And like even just the rain, I could feel like I could deal with some of the rain
Yeah.
and set something up. But just how cold it got for them, like I was like, it's a little messed up on that
Yeah.
part. But
It was a bit aggressive. But yeah, if you guys ever see that show, like, check it out, whatever.
Yeah.
It was interesting. So yeah.
Deja vu.
It wasn't. What?
All right, guys.
All right. Mike's brain is broken because he realized that Amazon tapped into it.
Amazon did not tap into it. They recommended it, but they recommended based on what I'd watched, but you told me about the show. That's just that's my truth. That's what I'm gonna say.
That's your truth.
That's my truth.
All right. Well,
All right, guys.
Well,
we
yeah.
appreciate you guys listening to us again.
tell us about like a dream that you've had or whatever, or
When someone told you about something that they deny telling you,
or if you see yourself in a dream or anything like that. So yeah, definitely.
or your childhood stories.
Oh
of
yeah,
what-
a childhood story and something,
Yeah.
and if you like went someplace and then that you remember and it looks completely different, or if it looks exactly the same, like if you remembered
Yeah.
it, like like how vivid were your memories or whatever. So, but yeah, definitely make sure to hit that subscribe button and hit the bell, share, follow us on Instagram at Downright Random, and we thank you guys for watching and listening, and we will see you in the next one.
All right. Talk to you later.
Bye.